So I was reading a book the other day, and it said something that seemed so obvious to me at the time, but it also blew my mind. How could something obvious blow your mind? It, it, it was such a contradiction because I usually think about shit, and it was something that caught me off guard, that surprised me for whatever reason. Anyway, the book said that good conversation leads to friendship. Now, duh, like that's obvious as fuck. But for some reason, that caught me off guard, and I was like, wow. I started looking back into every relationship that I have in my life, all of the good ones, all the good friendships, and I was like, oh yeah, like that was the root cause of all of my friendships. Was at one point we had good conversations, and then the conversations developed into hanging out, and then my relationship with that person developed into a friendship, and it happened with every friendship. And I mean, this is something that I'm really grateful about. But I have a good support group in my life, and I have a lot of really amazing people who are really good for me, and I'm really lucky for this. But it seems like having good conversations with these people is what led to a lot of these high quality relationships. So why does good conversation lead to friendship? Well, the first thing that I can think of is that good conversations are fun to have for everybody. Like, who doesn't like to have a good conversation? It's almost like if you like playing tennis, you're going to want to play tennis against somebody who's around the same skill level as you. Because it would be no fun to play tennis against someone who just destroys you every time you play. And it would be no fun to play tennis against someone who just can't return the ball back to you. But if you can get a good rally going, similar to a conversation, it's going to be a much more fun experience. Now, if you can get a rally going with the person, with your tennis partner, you're going to want to keep playing with that person because the games are fun. It's just more fun to be with somebody who could be on your same level. And, I think that right there is really what leads. It isn't what sustains friendships, because I think a lot of things sustain friendships. But good conversations can help sustain a friendship. I think luckily for me that I'm pretty good at conversations, and I enjoy conversations because to me I love conversations because it's almost like a little game that you get to play with everybody, and everybody's in on it, and there's possibility for these games at any walks of life. Like if you're going to an elevator, you can play the game, or if you're going outside, you're walking around, you can play the game. I live in New York City, so I can play the game anywhere, in the subway station, in the elevator, just at the restaurant, just anywhere. There's an opportunity to have conversations. And I think the better that you are at having conversations and listening to people, asking questions, but also being able to articulate your thoughts, the better you are at that, the higher chance you have of developing better friendships and better relationships. And it just seems so obvious, but conversations just seems to be such a beneficial skill to have. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and give you tips on how to have conversations. Maybe we could do that in a future video. But there's a book that's really good at talking about this called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read this book a few years ago, and it's a really good book. If you're not good at conversations, it's really good at articulating what makes a good conversation and why good conversations are important. But it's just something I wanted to talk about. Good conversations lead to friendships. Every single friend that I have started with a good conversation. So think about that. If you're someone who doesn't have good friendships, or if you don't have high quality friendships, think to yourself, what kind of conversations are you having with these people? Do you feel like they hear you when you're talking, or are they just waiting for it's their moment to talk? Or when they talk, are you hearing them, or are you just waiting for it to be your moment to talk? Are they surface level conversations? Are they deep conversations about life? And are you vulnerable? I think vulnerability is also like a really important thing in developing friendships and relationships. And also being vulnerable can help create a stronger conversation. So yeah, if you don't have the kind of friendships and relationships that you like in your life, maybe you can take a look at the kind of conversations that you have with these people, and ask yourself, those questions, and you can work on it. That's also another great part about conversations, is that if you're not great at conversations now, you could work on it and become better at conversations. It's like going to the gym. If you're weak and don't have muscle, you can go to the gym and work out and develop those muscles. If you stay aware and conscious of the kinds of conversations that you have, you can develop your skill in conversation having, and just watch the quality of your relationships blossom, because that's how it works. Obviously there's a bunch of other things that comes into play when it comes to maintaining healthy relationships, and those aren't just conversations, but I'll talk about that on another video, I'm sure. But anyway, good conversations leads to friendship. Just wanted to talk about that. Just like a really interesting thought to me, and I think that it's very important that we stay conscious of the conversations that we have and do our best to have high quality conversations with the people in our life. All right, that's my video. That's it. I'm done. Oh, by the way, yeah, like I said, I'm not reading comments. I'm off YouTube, but if you have anything you want to say, have any thoughts, opinions, you can email them to me, frankiecaputo@gmail.com. Also, I'll leave the email address in the description and comments of the video. All right, peace.